Reform is the real deal, except no imitations. Look, at the moment, you're seeing on the right a kind of a mad scramble, a desperate dash to keep up with the relentless pace that the party is setting. Reform is carving out really significant electoral leads now against both the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. And the price of that success is always envy, and there's always going to be resentment. And some of that is really playing out with these kind of minnow right wing fringe imitation acts. And that is effectively, the rump of what is left of UKIP, the Homeland Party. What's the new one? Advance UK, Ben Habib's outfit, which is sort of teamed up with, Tommy Robinson. And, of course, we can't go without mentioning Rupert Lowe's new sort of, personal kind of political vehicle, some would say a personality cult, Restore Britain, which he insists won't be a political party, but, could well end up being his golden ticket into the Conservatives. All of these kind of, I liken them a little bit to, how Nandos has these imitation outfits like Frango's, who sort of, they're also chicken restaurants who just happen to have quite similar coloured branding, very similar menu, pretty much exactly the same menu. You're seeing a kind of a glut of these things appearing on the right and all claiming to be the true voice of the right, in British politics. And, also not just sort of claiming that mantle, but also trying to kind of misrepresent reform as controlled opposition. The new establishment, that they're peeling left, they're selling out their principles. And of course, none of it's true. But what it's telling you is as you get over the target, as reform continues to build its leads, you're going to see more and more of these desperate antics for relevancy. The flack is always hardest when you're over the target. And, what reform needs to do is not get blown off course, not go down rabbit holes trying to prove its right wing credentials, in a kind of tet for tet. It doesn't. It needs to stay where it believes the common ground is in British politics. It needs to have strong messages, absolutely, on law and order, and that's what we're doing through the Britain's Lawless campaign. It needs, clear policies on migration and on deportations, and we're building those policies. But these things take time, and my appeal to reformers is just stay steady. Don't get sidetracked, by these online debates and start doubting things. Reform is going to probably win the next general election on the current form that we're on. We are building at a great pace into a serious election fighting machine. We're attracting really talented people to get involved in the party in terms of developing policy. The opportunities are there for reform to transform this country, and you just need to stick with us and be patient and be strategic. We are going to change this country for the better. So just stick with reform, and all will be well.